Hey guys. Long time no talk to, I guess. Yeah. As you can tell by the title, I'm not in the greatest place right now. I also apologize for any noise that you may hear outside. I think it's raining. Heard a few planes going by. It's 11:30 at night. Honestly, I should be asleep right now. I have to be out the door at 7 a.m. for work, but I can't sleep. So I thought, why don't I sit down and try to film this and get my feelings out? I've said for literally years that I was going to do a video about my mental health and about my bipolar, and then right now I'm just figure out a better time than right now to finally just sit down and freaking do it, because I'm in the middle of it right now and it's so bad. Also, don't mind me repping David Dobrik merch. I wanted something cuddly to sleep in. Not that David Dobrik is cuddly, this shirt is just cuddly and comfy, and it reminds me of a really good night that I had with my baby sister, so I apologize for how I look. Again, I was laying down to go to bed. Have you ever had one of those days where you just like know that you need to do something or talk about something, but you just like, you can't bring yourself to do it because it's just so much? Where do I begin? I mean, I guess I'll give you guys my diagnosis and then I'll explain what the dark place is. My official diagnosis is I am bipolar 2, which is hypomanic and depressive rather than manic and depressive, which there's a lot of differences. I could get into that completely, but if you want a good example, Anna Campbell here on YouTube, she's bipolar 1, but she has great mental health videos. Right now I'm not in a place to get into it and explain all the differences, but I'm 98% sure that Anna has a video explaining the differences between bipolar 1 and bipolar 2. So if I can find that, I'll link that down below. I'm like super fidgety with my hair, like I am sorry. I am bipolar 2 with anxiety and OCD. I now have a diagnosed eating disorder as well, and I've been living in a dissociative state lately. That's a whole lot of messed up in my head. I am medicated. I was on Lamictal and Celexa, and then my pharmacy changed their generic of Lamictal and I got the infamous Lamictal rash. Anyone who's been on Lamictal has heard of it. So the new brand of generic gave me the reaction, so they took me off of them and put me on just Traliptal, and that's been working for the most part. What exactly is the dark place? It's where I am right now. It's that state of mind when you're not okay, and you know that you're not okay, and quite often you can feel yourself as you start slipping into the dark place. I think realistically it's probably about 2 weeks ago that I felt myself starting to slip. I'd also like to preface with, I experienced a loss at the beginning of this month, which I don't want to get into the details of it in this video. It deserves its own video, but at the same time I don't know if I want to make a video about it, because I feel like it would honestly just be taking, I don't want to say taking advantage, but I feel like I would like be manipulating the situation and using it for clickbait, which I don't feel okay with. It was rough. There's a lot of circumstance around it that explains why it was rough and like what exactly has been going on. But again, that's a whole long story that would deserve its own full story time. But I experienced a loss. And I'm still grieving a bit from that. I think I was straight up in shock, and then I kind of went numb. And I feel like the dark place is kind of me losing the numbness, but it's combining with so much more that's going on. You guys know my best friend Daniela moved to probably about an hour and 45 minutes away. That might be a good estimate. I'm not sure, honestly. She moved away. My other best friend Casey, if you guys have watched me for a while, you all know Casey. Casey used to be in literally all my videos. She moved as well. She's married with a kid now. She moved away. She has so much going on in her life that I very, very rarely talk to her. And it breaks my heart, but it's how it is. Like, when you're a wife and a mom, you don't have time for your friends anymore. And it sucks to be one of the friends, but it is what it is. My little sister Sarah, she has a new boyfriend. I'm so happy for her. He's such a genuinely great guy. I do love him, and I love him for her. But she's always with him. And her job has changed around, and now school started back up, so she's back at school. So literally all of her free time is with her boyfriend now. I can't remember the last time that me and Sarah had like quality time. So it's like, they've been my support system, and I've kind of lost them a bit lately. So that's been really, really rough on me, to not really have my support system around. Maybe 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it must be about 2 weeks ago now. I felt myself starting to slip into the dark place. There was no reasoning behind it that I could think of. I just felt myself starting to slip. I knew it was happening. I've been there so many times over the years with my mental health issues. I knew things were about to get bad. Anyone who's experienced it knows when you can feel things starting to get bad. And I knew that it was about to happen. So I have a group chat with my sisters, Becca and Sarah, and I literally sent out, it just said, this is an SOS. I hate to send this, but I'm starting to slip into the dark place and I need my sisters. Sarah has had so much going on between school and work and her boyfriend that she hasn't really had time for much of anything. It's been like, hey, I'm sorry, like, what's going on? I love you. But she hasn't really had the chance for anything else. You know, even anything that's going on, like, with the family. It's like, oh, I would love to be here for this, but I have to go to work, which, this is no shade to Sarah. I love her. I love my sister to death. I know that she's had other stuff going on. Becca has really stepped up in a way that I never expected her to. She does not live nearby. She's married with 2 kids. She does not live nearby. Well, she lives probably about 20-minute drive, but she hates driving on highways. Her car is not the best. Yeah. She has made a point to be like, hey, I'm at my mom's, which is near where you live. Come visit. Because you guys know she's my foster sister, not biological. She'll be like, hey, like, I'm at my mom's. Come visit. Or last week, I was at my retail job on Sunday. She texted me. She's like, are you at work? And I'm like, yeah. She shows up with her husband and my niece and nephew. Like, she's really done a lot more than I don't want to say that I thought she would, because I know that she loves me and would do anything for me, but than I expected, given the fact that she's married with 2 kids. She's done a lot for me, but at the same time, and this isn't straight to her, she's done everything she can, but at the same time, even with that, I've still been slipping into the dark place. I think that one of the big things that got me there is I was on a YouTube binge the other night, as I always am. And you know when you just watch one video and you spiral onto all these other videos and you have no idea how you got there? I got onto a wisdom tooth removal video. And it sort of clicked for me that if I needed to get my wisdom teeth removed, I don't think I'd be able to. Because I don't think a dentist would okay it. Because I don't have someone that would pick me up from the dentist. I don't have someone that would stay with me when I came out of anesthesia. I remember when Casey got her teeth removed, I was there with her. Sorry, my eyebrow is itchy. I was there with her all day. Like, she was getting physically ill everywhere because she's reacting to the anesthesia. Like, you know, most people need someone to take care of them when they first come out. And if I were to need it, I'd have no one to pick me up. I'd have no one to stay with me. And that's when it kind of hit me that I don't really have anyone. What I do is I go to work and then I come home. I'll watch YouTube videos and I'll just lay in bed and kind of wait for the day to end and then wake up the next day and do it all over again. And it's kind of rough realizing how lonely I am. Like, I don't really have much of anyone. I wouldn't be able to get my wisdom teeth taken out because I literally have no one that would be there with me to take care of me, to pick me up. And it's genuinely sad. Today, I was texting with one of my former co-workers. He's one of my favorite people in the universe. Like, since the day that I met him, he's, like, come through. He's been such a good friend. He's been, like, an older brother. Like, he's one of the people out there that I know I can rely on, even if I can't rely on, like, anyone else. I know that, like, push comes to shove, he's there for me. And, like, he's the sweetest. And I was texting him today, and I was well aware at that point that I was in the dark place. And I was sort of telling him about how I realized how lonely I was. And I phrased it in the most morbid way possible. Which, it seems kind of scary when I say it. You have to understand, I have no thoughts of suicide. I would like to preface that. No thoughts of suicide. But the way that I phrased it definitely sounds like I did. And what I said was, I'm realizing that if I were to literally die today, I have a handful of people that would be sad for a few days. But I don't really know if I have anyone that, like, a year from now would look back and be like, damn, like, I really miss her. I wish she was still here. How sad is that? But it's like, I know that I do, but my brain's telling me I don't. And here I am feeling I'm gonna start crying. Because this is what the dark place does to you. Like, I know that if, like, I were to walk to work tomorrow and get hit by a car, for example, that Danny would miss me terribly. Casey, even though I barely talk to her knowing that there's not a way to talk to me, it will get to her. Becca, Sarah, Sam, my little brother Matt, it would, like, hurt all of them. A year from now, they would still be thinking about me, so why is my brain telling me that they don't care? Just because I don't see them doesn't mean they don't care. When you're in the dark place, your brain does not use logic. Your brain tells you, no, they're not making time for you. They're not seeing you. They don't care. They won't care if you live or die. Which is so not true, but that's what the dark place does. It actually started because he said that his wife was out of town. He was going out with a bunch of his friends tonight. And I'm like, oh, like, that sounds like so much fun. Like, I'm so jealous. I'm just going home because I'm old. I'm a grandma. He's older than me, mind you. But he's like, oh no, like, it's the weekend. You need to go out. Like, have fun. Go out with your friends. Convince them to go out. And my response was, ha, what friends? Because that is true. I don't have friends that would go out with me on a weekend. I don't. Like I said, Danny moved away. Casey moved away. Becca moved away. Sarah, working or with her boyfriend. Like, I really don't have friends that I could go out with. I have my YouTube friends who, honestly, I love my YouTube friends so much. Like, you guys are amazing. I have my friends in New York. I have my friends in LA. I have my friends in Canada. Like, I have friends, but I don't have people that I can see frequently. And I think that's what's tricking my brain. They say that humans need actual physical contact with another human 3 times a day. Skin-to-skin contact. Or else their brains go haywire. And to be perfectly honest, I believe that. And I believe that that's what's happening. The most contact I get is Pip, my cat, if you guys are new. Most of the people that I could call my friends aren't into YouTube, which is fine. Like, I'm not like, oh, I'll only be friends with you if you're into YouTube. Like, no, I don't care. We can have different interests and still be friends. But because I'm alone all the time, I watch so much YouTube. So it's kind of like it's all I have to talk about. It's like, I have other things that I'd love to do. I would love to be going to the gym all the time. I pay $20 for a gym membership a month, and I barely go because you guys know I don't drive. It's not walking distance, and paying for Ubers there and back every day, that's so expensive. It's like, so many things I'd rather do. I would rather go to the gym than sit at home. Like, I'd rather go out to eat with my friends, but I'm broke. I don't have the money for that. I would so happily go into Boston and meet up with, like, my old friends from college, or, like, just go somewhere. I would happily go see Casey where she lives now, or go see Danny where she lives now. But the fact that I don't drive, and it's not like the simple answer is just, oh, then go drive. I have seizures. It's an actual medical thing that's going on with me not driving. So it's not like I can just say, like, oh, I'll just start driving. It's not that simple. It's so weird because so many good things have been happening in my life, and that's what hurts. It's like as soon as things start getting, like, really, really, really good for me, something happens and I end up in the dark place. It's as if life has a sick way of being like, oh, I see that you're happy. Would be a shame if somebody were to come along and just turn off the lights and drag you into that dark place. And the worst part is that I know that I'm going to hit another mania phase soon. I'm just going to be so up soon. Everyone's going to be like, oh, like, why were you just looking for attention? I'm not. I wish I didn't feel this way. But it took me until today when I was messaging this friend and I ended up almost crying at work because it just like kind of hit me that I really don't have friends. Like I have friends, but not here, not friends that'll go out and do things with me. And the fact that I almost started crying at work, and then I'm just like, I need to reach out to someone. So I reached out to my cousin, and I reached out to Danny, and I feel terrible that I reached out to Danny because she's going through her own stuff right now. It's all so hard to put this into words. Like, I wish I had thought to script it out, but the fact that I'm also, like, exhausted and I should be asleep by now probably isn't helping. This is more of just explaining what the dark place is and why so many times I can't do anything. It really sucks, because, like, I won tickets a few weeks ago to see Niall Horan in concert. And it was a pair of tickets. And I offered the second ticket to so many people. I literally said to so many people, like, hey, do you want to go to this concert with me? It's free. And it's not exactly nearby where I live where it was going to be. So it even got to the point where I was like, hey, like, I have a ride set up because I knew someone else who was going. And they were like, yeah, you guys can ride with us. And I was like, hey, like, I have a ride set up. You don't even need to worry about driving. You can drink at the show. Like, it's free. You just need to be there. I could not find a single person to go with me for free. How sad is that? You are offering free tickets to a concert with transportation. They can drink as much as they want. They just need to be willing to actually go, and literally nobody would go. It's stressful when you have no friends. And that's one of the saddest things I think I've ever said. I've gone for what feels like my entire life feeling like I don't have friends. Feeling like I'm just that, like, person that the group included because they feel bad for them, and like one person in the group was like, oh, I feel bad, like, let's include them. The next thing that you know, I'm included in everything because they feel bad not including me. I'm just like on the outskirts. I'm not really friends with any of them. They're just like, oh, well, we can't leave her out because poor girl's lonely. I feel like that's how I was my entire life, and I feel like it's still kind of like that. Honestly, like, if I didn't have YouTube, I don't know what I'd be doing with myself right now. Like, yeah, I've been sucking at filming and uploading, but I've actually filmed a lot, but when I get to the editing phase, I'll see how I look, and I actually hate myself. I promise you guys, I am filming. I just can't get myself to edit and upload it because I actually hate myself. And that's kind of the dark place. It's so difficult to explain. I know this entire video is just me actually rambling. It's me avoiding talking about the subject, and then me rambling. I saw a post on Twitter literally today about how, you know, one day, like, just out of nowhere, a wave of peace will just wash over you, and you'll, you know, have peace with who you used to be, and have peace with who you are and who you will be, and, like, where you're going. And I'm like, I had that when I was in LA. Like, I was sitting out on the little porch that we had at the Airbnb, just like looking at the view, and I was just completely at peace. And just sitting there on the porch drinking cold brew because I'm me and cold brew is life. And I'd never been happier. Like, I wasn't playing games on my phone. I had my phone face down playing some music, and I was just sitting there just completely at peace with everything. I've never felt that except for when I was in Los Angeles. I don't want to say the moral of the story is, oh, I'm going to move to California and things will be great. Because, like, yes, I am going to move to California and hopefully things will be great, but, like, that's not suddenly going to pull me out of the dark place. Although, it's funny, because one of my favorite songs has line says, I just moved to LA because I was living in a dark place and I needed a little sunshine in my days. Trades by Tom Henke. If you guys don't know that song, listen to it. I'm obsessed. First time I heard that song, I'm like, this song is going to change my life, and it really has. I don't know how to end this video. Like, it's not like there's some big resolution that's like, oh, this can get me out of the dark place. I guess it's more just give you guys an insight onto what the dark place is actually like. When I say I'm in the dark place, what I mean, like, being in the dark place, even though I know I have friends, I feel like I don't. Even though I know people care, I feel like nobody does. Being in the dark place, your mind realistically and logically knows what's happening, but something is telling you that that's lying to you. It's like anxiety. How, if you have anxiety, you get anxious over anything, and then your brain can tell you that's dumb. You have no reason to be anxious, but you're still anxious. That's what the dark place is like. When I'm in the dark place, I know I have no reason to feel that way, but I do, and I can't talk myself out of it. Imagine knowing that the sky is blue. That's just a fact. The sky is blue, the sky is blue, the sky is blue. And then one day, even though you know the sky is blue, your brain's telling you like, but it's not anymore. Like, didn't you see it changed colors? And you know it didn't change colors, and you know it's still blue, but your brain is still trying to convince you, no, it changed colors. And so you start second guessing yourself, and you start saying, well, I mean, the sky gets dark at night. When it got light, did it not end up blue? Did it become a different color? Even though you know the sky is blue. Maybe that's too simple of a comparison, but it's the easiest one I can think of. Have you ever just felt numb? Now imagine 1 minute you're numb and the next minute you're crying, and normally you talk to your friends about why you're so upset, but you feel like you don't have any friends, so you cry more. And then you realize it's not going to make a difference, so you kind of go back to being numb. And that's kind of the cycle of the dark place. Eventually I'll come out of it. I always do. It's part of being bipolar. I'm sure that people with other issues, and even normal people that don't actually have mental illness and just have emotions, end up in the dark place from time to time. Because I don't know, guys, there's literally no good way to end this video. I'm not going to just be like, and that's how to get out of the dark place, because it's not going to happen. Maybe now it'll just be a little bit of insight into how I am when I say I'm in the dark place. I feel like that's what this is for. To like bring awareness to it and to give you guys some insight into what it's actually like. Maybe it'll help get me out of a rut, because I've been in a messy rut too, and that's not what got me into the dark place, but it's not helping me get out. Anyways, I don't know, guys, but I mean, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me ramble for however long this ended up being and getting my emotions out, I guess. Thank you for caring enough to, you know, want to see what it's like to be in the dark place. If you guys ever want to talk about anything relating to mental health, I'm always here for you. Always. Doesn't matter how bad my problems are, I'm always here for you. Don't even think like, oh, her problems are worse than mine. No. Because that's how I always would feel. And I never want anyone to feel like that. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. My DMs are always open. Make sure, the Maya Lee on Twitter and Instagram. You can always DM me. Guys, remember, if no one's told you lately, I appreciate you just for being you. Don't let mental illness get you down. Don't get yourself dragged into the dark place. And if you do find yourself in the dark place, just know that you can always find your way back up. I'm there now, but I know I'm going to be back to normal soon enough. And you'll be able to do it too. Alright, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
I don't know, but I've been told the world outside is oh so cold. So cold.